One week later.
I cannot decide what light I want. They all look really bad. Today I have spooky, this isn't really spooky lighting, but this is as good as we're gonna get. I have spooky lighting and spooky shirt on. Today I'm going to be talking about spooky, horror, scary movies and TV shows. First I'm gonna talk about some spooky shows. Not really spooky, but you know, it has the vibes. The first one, obvious, American Horror Story. Literally everybody has seen American Horror Story. I don't even know why I'm including it. My favorite seasons are Murder House, just because, you know, classic first season, you know. You're all I want! You're all I have! Then we have Coven. Coven is super good. It was the first season I actually watched on TV, and I was like, wow, I can't wait for next week. And then more recently I watched 1984. It took me a while to get into it, but once I got into it I was like, wow, I'm hooked. Probably a controversial statement. I haven't heard anyone really talk about it too much, but yeah, American Horror Story. Next we have Charmed. Charmed is a show that came out in 1998. It ran for like 8 seasons, I think. It's about 3 sisters who are witches and have to fight demons and warlocks and all kinds of different creatures. It's really fun. It's very like 90s, early 2000s with all the music and the fashion and everything. And they're witches. It's great. It's on, oh. I was gonna say it's on Netflix, but it literally got removed this month and I'm so mad about it. So never mind. It's on TNT every morning. You could probably find it on TV, on demand. There is a Charmed reboot though. It's not as good, but I mean, it's the same idea. Next TV show I have is Supernatural. Everyone's probably seen Supernatural too. Pretty sure that one's still on Netflix. It's about two what? I was gonna say boys, but they're not boys. They're like grown men. Two brothers who are kind of like supernatural crime solvers. Because they're always like posing as cops, but they're just like fighting evil, killing demons. There's so many seasons of that show. I think they're on their 16th season, which is insane that a show about fighting supernatural things with two brothers could last this long. It's wild. The show does get very, very repetitive, but I think the first 2 seasons are like, mwah. Beautiful, wonderful. Okay, next show is The X-Files. I've seen a good portion of The X-Files. It's another 90s show. It ran from like 1993 to 2000 and something. I haven't watched it in a while, but from my understanding, it's about 2 FBI agents who investigate crimes that are of the supernatural origin. Like aliens and diseases, like spooky diseases. There's 2 main characters. There's Fox and Scully, I think. One's like a skeptic and one's like, I'm gonna find out what's going on here with the ghosts. And yeah, they're paranormal investigators who also work for the FBI. Next, I'm going to be talking about The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This show is like, it's okay. I watched the show specifically because I was like, I've seen all of Charmed. What other witch show can I watch? And this one looked pretty alright, so I gave it a go, and it's pretty alright. It's about a teenage girl who's half witch, half human, and she has to find herself and navigate her teenage life as a witch with witchy abilities. It's a good young adult supernatural spooky show. Next is Stranger Things. Everyone's probably seen Stranger Things because everyone has. But if you haven't, please check it out. It's so good. I like all 3 seasons. Can't wait for season 4. It's about a group of kids. There's one girl, she can control things with her mind, and there's hijinks and another dimension where scary creatures come and try to do bad things. And that's my very quick synopsis of Stranger Things. Next is Ash vs. Evil Dead. It's sort of like a spin-off, sort of thing, reboot, I'm not sure what to really call it, of the original Evil Dead series. Their movies, they're like horror comedy. The first time I watched like Evil Dead, I kind of hated it because I didn't realize that it was supposed to be funny or just like over the top crazy. So I was like, this is awful, this is terrible. But the TV show, it makes it a lot more obvious that it's supposed to be funny, so I liked it. Plus I watched it recently. I knew what I was what I was expecting. I think it's on Hulu. It's about this dude. You don't really have to see the original movies to understand what's going on in the show. It kind of explains everything to you. This guy has this evil book, or maybe he doesn't. There's this evil book and it's like trying to prophesize the end of the world, and they have to go back to this cabin that they went to in the 80s. It's the same actor who originally played the main guy, so that's fun. And yeah, I don't want to, I mean, it's not really a show where you can't give stuff away. I just haven't seen it in a few years, but I really remember enjoying it. He has to fight evil forces. Finally, I'm going to talk about True Blood. It's an HBO show about vampires and falling in love with vampires. It's like Twilight, but for adults and TV show form. It takes place, I don't remember where it takes place, on the bayou in the south with the swamps, and I love those kind of vibes. Imagine the song Down on the Bayou, I think that's what it's called. Something about bayou. That in a show with vampires. On the bayou. Amazing. I love it. And all the characters are so nice and good. I mean, they're not nice and good, but like, it's a good show. I actually never finished it because I was watching it when I was like too young on like some illegal website. And it got annoying because my computer kept getting viruses. But yeah, the first few seasons, amazing, really good. I can't say for the rest of it because I didn't watch it, but I recommend. Next, we're going to be talking about scary movie. Oh wait, the final show I'm going to be talking about is Goosebumps. See? Goosebumps. Goosebumps isn't actually a scary show. It's a spooky, spooky Canadian kids show. If you didn't watch it when you were younger, you're not going to like it. You're gonna think it's stupid. You're gonna think it's cringy. You're gonna just hate it. If you watched it when you were younger, or if you love like old 90s nostalgia, you'll love it. It's great. The acting, terrible. Special effects, terrible. But guess what? It's like my favorite show. It's amazing. I love it. I'll watch all of the episodes over and over and over again. You can just jump into any one episode. None of them are connected except the two-parters. Now we're moving on to the movies. I don't have as many scary movies because I'm more of a TV show kind of gal. I've seen lots of scary movies, but I don't remember them. First, we're gonna be talking about The Ring. The first scary movie that I actually watched and enjoyed was The Ring. The Ring is so good. I love it. It's not really that scary. It's not like, oh my god, my heart's beating so fast. But it's just like, I love the detective side of it. There's a videotape, and when you watch it, it kills you. That's like one of the lines in the movie. I can probably reenact one of the scenes. Let me try. Have you heard about the videotape that kills you when you watch it? What kind of tape? A regular tape. People rent it. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know. That's cringy. I'm sorry. Alright, next. Cabin Fever. I watched this recently and I enjoyed it so much. I love a good bad teen horror movie. Love them so much. I don't know why. They're so bad usually, but they just make me really happy because they're not really that scary. But Cabin Fever is about this group of teens, well, young adults. I don't know how old they are, probably like 20. They all rent a cabin, and then this dude comes over. This dude is not doing good. And then all of the, I hope I'm remembering this correctly. I'm not gonna say anymore because I don't want to give anything away. It's just good, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a cat, they're in a cabin and they get a fever. Chaos ensues. Okay, next is not really a scary movie, but it's a good movie just put on in the background in like a Halloween party because it's just like iconic and wonderful, but also you kind of have to pay attention, so whatever. It's called From Dusk Till Dawn. It's about these two brothers. They're bank robbers, I think. They need to get across the border, so they kidnap this family in their RV and they head down to Mexico, and they stop by this like strip club bar place, and guess what? Everyone's a vampire. It's directed by, oh god, what's his name? I'm pretty sure it's, what's Something Rodriguez. Richard Rodriguez? That doesn't sound right, but it's something Rodriguez. The same person who directed the Machete movies. And also it was, I don't know if it was written or directed or something, produced. Quentin Tarantino. And you can totally tell. The first half of the movie is literally just a Quentin Tarantino movie. If you like Pulp Fiction, if you like Reservoir Dogs, if you like those type of movies, you will love the beginning of this movie and then be like, what is happening at the second half? Because it goes off the rails and I love it. And it has like the famous like Salma Hayek snake scene. It's just an iconic movie. There's a guy, what's his name? He has a really funny name. I forgot his name. I'll put it on the screen. It's just like a really funny movie that like doesn't take itself too seriously, even though it's a super serious movie. And George Clooney's in it, which is weird. It's just a very odd cast of characters, but it's so good. And it's not really scary. I just included it because it's about vampires. Next is Hush. Everyone's also probably seen Hush, but if you haven't, I really recommend checking it out. It's on Netflix. It's about this woman. She is deaf. That's why it's called Hush. And somebody tries to break into her house and kill her. And I don't think I'm giving away too much by saying that. Next is The Shining. I love The Shining. I love Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson is daddy. That sounded, I hate that. I pretend I didn't do that. That was so uncomfortable. He's not. He is an old man now. I'm sorry, Jack Nicholson. If you haven't seen The Shining, I highly recommend watching it just because it's like a classic movie. Stephen King hates it. I love it. It's kind of boring, but just like once you watch the whole thing, you're like, wow. Good job, The Shining. It's about a family who has to take care of a hotel over their off season. It's got a dad, a mom, and a little boy in it. And the little boy can shine, which means he can kind of like see ghosts, I think. I'm really bad at explaining things. But yeah, it's super good. I highly recommend Shining. Things don't really happen until the end of the movie, but it's still very entertaining. Nice build up. Next is The Autopsy of Jane Doe. This movie probably isn't that great. I don't know. I don't remember really. I just remember being so scared. I watched it with my friends and we were literally all on the couch like just huddling together because we were all so terrified. And I don't even know why. It wasn't even really that scary of a movie. It's like a haunted lady and she's like spooking them, and it's really good, and they have to do an autopsy on the body, but the body's not really dead, and oh, it's so good, it's so scary, and I loved it. That's all. Finally, I am going to be talking about just like found footage movies, just as a whole. Not the Blair Witch Project though. I really don't like the Blair Witch Project. It's kind of like a whole build up to nothing. And I know people like that about it. I don't. The ones I liked are VHS and kind of VHS too. I think it would be an anthology movie. It's got like a bunch of different little movies in it and it's so good. They're all found footage, I believe. And I think they're all like directed by different people. Because I grew up when I did, I have a very short attention span, so it's good that it switches it up and keeps you interested. Different story and like, oh, this story's terrible. Well, guess what? A new one's gonna come in 20 minutes. Another found footage movie that I like is Creep. It's super short. It's about this guy who like responds to like a Craigslist ad, I think, about being a cameraman for this other guy, and the guy's super creepy and bad things happen, as you can imagine. And then there's like Paranormal Activity, which is obviously like a classic, but it's really been run into the ground. So if you haven't seen it, I'd recommend it, but there's way too many just what's it called, sequels. I think that's all. I think that's all I want to talk about. Hopefully this video is not too long. Thank you for watching, and if you have any scary show recommendations or scary movie recommendations, please put them in the comments. I want to see them. I want to watch them. I want to be spooked. Thank you and goodbye.